Hey, hi everyone. Hope you're all doing well today. Well, so far, there's only one of you in here right now, but regardless, I'll start the vocabulary class now. Uh, before I begin, could you tell me if you can hear me well and if you can see my screen?
Yes.
Great, thank you, Yanfei. Uh, So yeah, I'll start now. As always, please refrain from using any offensive language. Okay, so here's our first word for the day. So, Yanfei, please read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please.
Um, Wait. Intrin int Intrinsic
Mm-hmm.
adjective belonging to something as a basic and essential element by itself rather than because of an asso asso associate association
Yep.
or consequences, essential in nature, fundamental mental in character. The intrinsic the intrinsic conflict between good and evil is a constant theme in literature.
All right, nice. Thank you, Yanfei. All right. So yeah, intrinsic just means like it just describes something as belonging to a particular thing, as something that is essential. So like it belongs to it, not by association. It's not essential by association. It's just essential because it just feels like it belongs to something. It's a little complex. But yeah, I'll give you 1 minute to write out one sentence using this word, and then I'll go through your submission. Okay? Before that, I'll just paste the slideshow link in the chat in case you need it. All right? So you can start writing now. Hey everyone, a minute is up. I just noticed that Eric showed up to class. Hi, Eric. If you have a sentence, please post it in the chat. And for you, Eric, I'll send you a link to the slideshow. Hmm. So I'll wait for a little bit longer. Hopefully, there's at least one submission. Hey, so it's been a couple of minutes. I think the word might be a little bit difficult. I'm not seeing any submissions, so yeah, I'll just post an example. Oh, okay. Thank you, Yanfei. Okay, let's see what you have. I'm glad you managed to get a sentence out. Thank you. All right, so Yanfei, you wrote the idea of genre as a space to express these things was intrinsic. Okay, good use of the word intrinsic. I like this. Yeah, you're saying that genre is essential in order to allow for the expression of things. Yeah, great sentence, Yanfei. Nothing I need to edit here. Well done. Okay, yeah. So since we spent quite a bit of time on this word, I'll just provide another example sentence. I'll provide an example sentence to show how you could use it because I do recognize that the word is a little hard to use. So, for example, you could say access to the arts is intrinsic to a high quality life. You could use it like that. Or you could say form is intrinsic to developing effective skills in skating. Something like that. You could use intrinsic to say that something is essential by nature to succeed in something or to do something. Or you could just say it's essential in something. Yeah, we spent quite a bit of time on this word. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so Eric, could you read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please?
Intrusion, state of being aware or knowing something through direct insight with any reasoning. Something believed or known instinctively without tangible evidence. Immediate, immediate knowledge of something. Martin's intuition inspired him to buy an initial public offering of a stock that quickly rose greatly in value.
All right, thank you, Eric. Well read. All right, so I'll give you once again 1 minute to write one sentence using this word. You may all begin. Okay, a minute is up, everyone. Okay, thank you, Eric. And I got another submission. Thank you, Yanfei. Yeah, I'll post your submission once I go over Eric's. Zoom seems to have changed their chat function. So it does take me a little longer to copy paste everything and look at everything. But yeah, I'll start off with Eric's submission. My intuition that something bad was about to happen made me turn around. Yeah, I like the way he used intuition here. Good use of the word, good writing, good grammar. Yeah, nothing I need to edit here. Well done, Eric. And here's your submission, Yanfei. The best way to open up to your intuition is to slow down. Okay, yeah. Very creative use of the word intuition. Well done. Yeah. Nothing I need to edit here either. I understand completely what you're trying to say. It was written well as well. Yeah, awesome work. Okay, let's move on to the next word. Okay, so Yanfei, could you please read out this word, its definition, in the example sentence?
Inundation, noun, a flood of water, also an overwhelming amount of things to deal with. The newlyweds return home to an inundation of family and friends who wanted to see them, but they wanted some time alone.
All right, thank you, Yanfei. Yeah, so there's two definitions here. Either use inundation to describe a flood of water or use it to describe an overwhelming number of things that you have to deal with or an overwhelming number of something. I'll give you 1 minute to write one sentence. You can all start. Hey, time's up, everyone. When you're finished your sentence, please post it in the chat. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, let's go over your sentence first. Okay, nice. So, Eric, you wrote, when the dam broke and inundation drowned the plants close to the incident. Yeah, I get what you're saying here. I like how you used inundation, but we could fix some grammar here. So I'll get rid of the and. I'll put a comma here. And I'll say, when the dam broke, the resulting inundation drowned the plants close to the incident. Yeah, writing this makes more sense to read and say out loud. But yeah, it was a good attempt. You did use the word well. I like that. Great job. Thank you, Yanfei. Here's what you wrote. Cars lined the parking lot close to the shore and watched large waves inundate the rocks on the water's edge. Okay, you used the verb version of inundation. So yeah, you used that correctly. I would have liked to see you use the noun version, but you did use the verb version of the word quite well, and it was a very well-written sentence. Nice job. So if I were to, oops, if I were to use this word as a noun, I would instead say, and watched the inundation from the large waves hit the rocks on the water's edge. But yeah, again, nothing wrong with what you wrote. I just expected you to use the word that was presented on the screen. But all in all, it was a correct use of inundate, the verb. But again, I would like you to use the word that is presented on the screen. Good job, Yanfei. You did well with the writing. Just remember that. Okay, so Eric, please read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence.
Invective, noun, abusive expression or language to denounce, attack, or blame someone. Extremely harsh speech or writing. Angry over being charged with a foul. The basketball team's best player shouted invective at the referee. He was immediately ejected from the game.
All right. Thank you, Eric. All right. So 1 minute to write out one sentence using this word, everyone. You may all begin. Okay. 1 minute is up. Thank you, Eric. All right, let's go through your sentence first. Thank you once again. All right, so here's what you wrote. Invective words are not the way to go when you don't agree with someone. Yeah, I like the message you're sending here and the way you use the word invective. Great job. The sentence makes sense, but to improve it grammatically a bit, to make it more proper, I would say using, I would add using to the start of the sentence. So using invective words, and because I added using, I'm gonna replace are with is not the way to go when you don't agree with someone. But yeah, great job, Eric. I understood what you were saying. I just wanted to make the sentence more proper, grammatically proper, I mean. Thank you, Yanfei. Here's your sentence. Though not to the folks who've had to endure the invective. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Yanfei. I would add a plural over here and a period there. But yeah, it seems like you're starting off a sentence after established context, but it's still well written. Great job. And also, I'm realizing here you used invective as an adjective rather than a noun. This is a simple fix we could do if we want to use this word as it was presented as a noun. So in that case, I'll get rid of words and replace it with just invectives. I'll just make invective plural to make the sentence make sense. Sorry about that. But yeah, both of you wrote very well written sentences. Yeah, let's move on to the next word. So, Yanfei, could you read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please?
In irony, noun, the use of words suggests the opposite of their literal meaning, often used in humor, something that happens that is not what might be expected, especially when it seems ab absurd,
Mhm.
ineffable, or con con consider
Coincidental.
con coincidental
Yep.
coincidental
Hmm.
that you can't iron iron could be called an ir irony
Irony.
irony. The irony was that even as leaders of the former Soviet Union protested, American cap capital capitalism
Yep.
levy jeans were the hottest and most expensive items on. Wait, I can't see that word.
Mm. Here. That says
Yeah.
Moscow.
Moscow's black market.
All right. Thank you, Yanfei. Well read. Yeah. So I'll give you 1 minute to write out one sentence using this word. It's a little bit tricky, but I'm sure you guys will write something really good. Yeah, you may all begin writing. Okay, time is up, everyone. When you're finished your sentence, you can post it in the chat. All right. Thank you, Yanfei. Okay, I'll just label this sentence as yours and then I'll read it out. Okay, so Yanfei, you wrote, which is the irony that cuts straight to the heart of the matter. Okay, yeah, thank you, Yanfei. Okay, this was very well written. I like the way you used irony here. One thing I will say though is like with the previous sentence, it seems like this is a type of sentence that would follow up with a previous sentence. And while this is proper writing, I would prefer it if you wrote your sentences as if it was the only sentence to read, like without any knowledge from previous sentences. Like, so for example, we could say instead of this being like an add-on to a non-existent previous sentence, we could replace which with it is the irony that cuts straight to the heart of the matter. That way, it seems like less of a transition sentence or like a sentence that transitions off of a previous sentence that doesn't seem to exist. But yeah, again, your sentence was well written either way, and you used the word quite well. So yeah, good work. And all right, if there's no other submissions, I will move on to the next word. Okay. In that case, I'll move on to the next word. If you didn't submit a sentence, you'll get a chance to with this next word. So, Eric, I'd like you to read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please. Sorry, Eric, could you read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please? It doesn't seem like Eric is available at the moment. So, in that case, I'll ask you, Yanfei, to read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence.
Irrev irre irrelevant
Irreverent.
adjective, irreverent
Hmm.
adjective, lacking in respect, displaying behavior that is disrespectful. Reverent reverence is really irreverent Comedians often use words that are considered explet expletives.
Expletives. But yeah, great job, Yanfei. Well read. Okay, so I'll give you all 1 minute to write one sentence using this word. Once again, you may all start. Okay, a minute is up, everyone. When you're finished, please post your sentence in the chat. Excellent. Thank you, Yanfei. All right. So here's what you wrote. He has a delightfully irreverent sense of humor. Okay, yeah. Great sentence, Yanfei. I like the use of contrast and juxtaposition in this sentence. So delight, or rather irony, maybe. So yeah, you said he has a delightfully irreverent sense of humor, very creative use of the word, and a very well-written sentence too. Excellent work. Okay, so nothing I need to edit here. If there's any other sentences, you if there's any other submissions, I mean, please post it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll move on to the next word. Thank you, Eric. All right. So you wrote, irreverent people are hated by a lot. Okay. Yeah, good sentence, Eric. I like the way you used irreverent. To make it more concise and grammatically proper, I'll replace a lot with many. Uh, I'll just change the color of that font by many. Yeah, excellent work, Eric. I just changed two words to be represented by this one word, and the sentence means the same thing. Yeah, excellent work anyway. All right, so eh, now I'd like Eric to read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please.
Iteration, noun, instance, or act of repeating something, a series of steps that is repeated to get closer to the desired outcome. A different vision of a version of something, as a newer version of a video game. After several iterations, the chef found the best recipe for the chocolate cheesecake.
All right, thank you, Eric. Yeah, basically, think of the word iteration as another word for version. So if you're talking about food, like in this example sentence, after several iterations, the chef found the best recipe. Think of iteration as a version of a recipe in this sentence's context. So yeah, think of that word as version. So 1 minute to write out one sentence using this word. You can all start. Okay, a minute is up, everyone. All right, thank you, Yanfei. Just label this sentence as yours before I read it out. Looking good. So you wrote, crucially, the cloud supports rapid testing and iteration. Okay, good sentence. I'm a little confused by how you use the word iteration, actually. If possible, could you explain what you meant? Okay, I'm not getting a response. Okay. Uh, anyway, I do find this use of the word iteration a little confusing. And I'm not sure if the word crucially is necessary either. So we could get rid of the word crucially. I'll capitalize the T and I'll say it has many iterations. Yeah, just to make the sentence make more sense. Good attempt, Yanfei. So thank you, Eric. Here's your sentence. You said iterations usually create the best version of something. Yeah, I like what you're trying to say here. Good use of the word iterations. To edit it a little bit, I'll say multiple iterations, just to be more clear with what you're trying to say. Multiple iterations usually create the best version of something. Yeah, good job, Eric. I just wanted to add that to make what you're trying to say a little more clear. Okay, here's our next word. Yanfei, could you read out this word, its definition, in the example sentence, please?
Jejune adjective, an 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 interesting and intellectually undemanding, dull, or lackluster can also mean lacking in sophistication or insight, lacking proper nourishment, not very fer- fertile, fertile. Many of
Hmm.
those taking their first music lessons have jejune dreams of fame, for fortune, and standing room only gigs.
All right, thank you, Yanfei. Well read. So again, I'll give you all 1 minute to write one sentence using this word. You may all start writing. Okay, time is up, everyone. When you finish your sentence, please post it in the chat. Okay, thank you, Yanfei. Here's what you wrote. She made jejune remarks about life and art. Okay, I like this. Great job, Yanfei. You used the word jejune quite well, and the sentence is well written. Nothing I need to edit. Excellent work. Okay, so if there's no other sentences, I will move on to the next word. Okay, so yeah, I think I will move on to the next word. We are running a little low on time. Okay, so Eric, could you read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please?
Jobbery, noun, the corrupt practice of making private gain from public office. This one's easy to remember. Jobbery is robbery by a politician. The senator was accused of jobbery by his opponent, yet he was never charged for it.
Thank you, Eric. Great reading. So, 1 minute to write out one sentence using this word. You may all start. Okay, a minute has passed. Thank you, Eric. So, you wrote, jobbery is illegal and land you in jail. Okay, yeah, good use of the word jobbery. I like this sentence and what you're trying to say, but I would add one word to it. I'll say could, or you could say will, depending on what you're trying to say. But yeah, I would add that extra word in there to make the sentence make more sense. Good job, Eric. So if there's no other submissions, I will move on to our last word of the night or the day. Okay, I'll move on to the next word now. Uh, okay, here's our final word of this session. So, Yanfei, could you read out this word, its definition, and the example sentence, please?
Jocular adjective having a playful, joking disposition intended to be funny, made in jest, stands always jocular behavior, and attitude was out of place during serious times.
All right. Thank you, Yanfei. Well read. So, 1 minute to write out one sentence using this word. And yeah, you can all start. looks like everyone submitted a sentence before the time limit. Thank you, Yanfei, and thank you, Eric. I'll go over Yanfei's submission first. So, you wrote, a jocular man who could make the most serious people smile. Okay, great use of the word jocular. Like the way you wrote the sentence, but remember to start off your sentence with capital letters. And also, I'll add something at the beginning to make the sentence seem more proper. So I'll say, he was a jocular man who can make the most serious people smile. Don't forget to capitalize the first letter in your sentence. But yeah, great job, Yanfei. And Eric, here's your sentence. Thank you very much. Jocular behavior can sometimes be annoying to people. Yeah, I like this sentence. Great job, Eric. Good use of the word jocular. And yeah, very properly and very well written too. Nothing I need to edit here. Excellent. Yeah, you all wrote great sentences today. You're all improving by the day. Well done. You understand how to use the words well, and generally your sentence structure, your grammar, and your writing is good. Remember to hone in on your writing skills and review these words if you can, because having a good vocabulary is very beneficial. So yeah, I'll end off the class here and I'll see you all next weekend for our next vocab session. Yeah, have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Yanfei.